And we are
Good
live.
morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the AHA Movement's first episode on YouTube. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Yogesh Kapoor. I'm a communications coach, and with me, I have my partner, Grace. So amazing. Grace, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hello. Hi, everybody. It's so good to be here. The AHA movement. Yes, my name is Grace Amazing, and I'm so happy to be here. I am a life coach and also a physicist, and I'm super happy that we're having our first episode. Yay! I'm super excited, and I'm happy because we're going to really be making this a movement. So you want to call your friends, you want to call all your loved ones to come and join us in this awesome moment. I don't know what just happened, but hey, we can keep going on.
Thank you so much for reminding me, Grace. Yes, if you want to share this with your friends, you want to invite somebody, please do. This is going to be a Sunday live every Sunday at 12 EST, that is US time. In China, it's 12 midnight. And what time is it for you there, Grace?
It's 5 p.m. here in Nigeria, West Africa.
Okay, so we pretty much are touching all the time zones. Great. So, Grace, you and me had a very big discussion about this, and we came up with the name AHA Movement. And it's funny how we both came up with the same name. You had AHA in your mind, you said AHA Movement, and then we figured it out. And I'm so excited about this YouTube channel because for a long time we've been formulating something, just you and me, and finally we've launched it. We didn't overthink it, and I'm super excited. But why do we call it AHA Movement? That's something that you want to explain to the audience.
All right, so you can all agree with me if you're someone that is in this space, and when I mean in this space, in the personal development space, in the growth space, when you are in that space where you are changing, you are growing, you are evolving, there is always that moment that something changes, and that moment is usually the aha movement, especially when an idea, probably, in a conversation like this, or you were doing something on your own, and for some reason, you just heard something deep inside of you, and boom, it became a brilliant idea that you had to work on. So yes, the name, the aha movement, is a moment for you, but it's a movement for all of us. And we are definitely going to be using this platform to help you get so many aha moments that you can use for your personal and professional life. Over to you.
Exactly. Exactly. There's so many times we have conversations, we talk to people, and in that moment, we suddenly have this brilliant aha moment, and we're like, oh my God, I never thought of it that way. And that helps us kind of change the way we look at things, our perspective. It gives us an idea how to better our life or move forward with the things we want to do. So, that's the reason we felt aha, because we've been in so many different platforms before. We've been in so many coaching programs, and sometimes when we're listening to people, that moment just happens, right? And it could literally change everything in your life. So that's why we called it the aha movement. And why movement is because we're not alone in this. Our whole idea is to have conversations, give some of our coaching tips out there so people out there can have that aha moment and improve their life and come back to us and say thank you for that, because that's our purpose. We want to help people, and I'm so excited about this. So let's move on to today's topic, Grace, since you are the one who came up with it, you brainstormed it. So tell us what's the topic of Tibet today.
All right, so what we hope to do on this show really is to talk about everything and anything. And most importantly, we would be in a way comparing stuff. So today we're going to be talking about scarcity and abundance. Scarcity versus abundance. And we're going to be looking at it in diverse ways. We'll look at what is scarcity? What does it even mean? How do we operate in that level of scarcity? And what is abundance? How do we operate in that level of abundance? So by the time we talk about them on an individual level, we will now bring them together and see how we can remove what we don't need and run away with what we need and use the aha to better our lives. So, yes, Yogesh, over to you. What do you think about that topic?
I think it's a brilliant topic because that's the difference between someone who is successful and someone who is not. And it's interesting because a lot of people, no matter how hard they work, but they have this scarcity mindset that stops them from growing further. And then there are people who have this abundance mindset. So they grow really fast because their mind understands that you have to do certain things and you have to accept and have a different perception of things, right? Great examples of these people would be Elon Musk, right? He always has an abundance mindset. No matter what is happening, what projects he is doing, how many billions of dollars debt he's in, he always has that abundance mindset. And no matter what happens, he makes things work, right? But like you said, let's define each first. So scarcity mindset. What is scarcity mindset? It's always a feeling of lack, right? You might have walked 100 kilometers, but when you wake up the next morning, you're like, what did I do? And it's when you go out to the groceries, you go outside and you want to buy something, you're always checking out the prices. You're always worried about, is there going to be enough to buy it? Or when you want personal development and you tell yourself, no, I am investing in, I'm not going to spend $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 in growing myself. That's a scarcity mindset. So these are examples, just a few of what scarcity mindset is. And Grace, since you're a life coach, you're a physicist, you've studied all of this. Where does this scarcity mindset come from?
Thank you so much. And I'm glad you asked that question the way you did. All right. Just yesterday, I was just, driving, and all of a sudden a thought just crossed my mind. And I said to myself, where did all this come from? What we money, let's even start with money. Where did it come from? And then a bit of control came to my head that for the purpose of control, money was created. And then it just came to me and I said, hmm, scarcity is man-made. Scarcity is man-made. And again, as you know, I love to say that I always think from that perspective of, let us look at it, let's dissect it. I'm a scientist, right? So it's not a bit about me just saying it and you're like, okay, why would you say that? Why would you say, scarcity is man-made? Now look at all the things and all the areas we struggle in life. You can trace it to something that was created by man. I'll give you a very beautiful example. Number one, look at, just for a moment, close your eyes and imagine the amount of fishes in an ocean. Let that sink. Just close your eyes and imagine the amount of fishes in an ocean. I bet you uncountable. Uncountable. Yogesh, you can open your eyes now. Yogesh, you can open your eyes now. I can see you're still imagining.
No, no, my eyes are open. They're not closed.
Okay.
Um,
Oh,
you
Oh,
know.
okay.
But yes, I was imagining the fishes. I was like, oh my god, that's billions and billions of fish out there. It's abundant. It's abundant.
Abundant. Yeah. So after that, just another thing you can just think of is the sand, the sand on the ground, the sand. You can imagine how, everything that comes naturally comes in their numbers, uncountable. You cannot count it, So, with that in mind, you can tell that naturally all things are abundant. But because of control, man decided to create the idea of money to create that level of scarcity where people would, feel the need to either have it, struggle for it, or come to a place of, I don't have it. How can I get it? And those that already have that mindset that look around you, there's a lot around, would have that mindset that they can always have it. So it came to mind when I was, on my way home yesterday, and I saw so many things, and I was like, then why are we struggling with anything? Why are we struggling with anything at all when we have everything in abundance? And then what comes to mind is how people, almost suffer because of the inability to see that there is always going to be enough. So yes, the scarcity mindset is man-made. And I think that's where this whole thing generated from, is man-made for the purpose of control.
That's a very good example of how everything is controlled, right? Because what you just said made me start thinking a lot, and I was like, look at so many of the industries out there, right? Whether it is the pharmaceutical industry, the diamond industry, and all of these industries, what do, right? They create scarcity, and they make sure the demand is there, right? So there's so many other reasons why. One, of course, it's man-made. Plus, it's so deeply rooted in so many people's minds, especially parents, how they tell their children that does money go on trees, and sometimes even in certain religious beliefs where they say money is the root of all evil, and but we can keep giving so many of these examples, but the whole point now is shifting to what abundance is, right? And you gave a very good example of fish. And another good example of that would be, we have abundance of everything. When we're born, I mean, think about it. We have the air, we have the trees, we have the fruits, we have the animals, we have nature, but we so badly ignore these things. And the focal point always becomes money and materialistic things. It's so unfortunate. I mean, even time, right? Even time is like abundant, but we always look at time as we are lack on time, right? I mean, we can go so deep with this topic, but we'll stick to the basics for this one. Um, Now, let's talk about the shift, because I think that's what's most important about people. Tell me a story of when you had a scarcity mindset and how you shifted it to an abundant mindset.
Oh wow, I have loads of that, loads of such examples. But I will start with, while growing up, it has always been, as we all know, we were programmed, from our childhood. Everything that we know started from when we grew up. And as we started growing up, for me, it was a case of, you know, and there's something I'm going to say that makes so much sense to me right now. Money, they say this all the time, that money doesn't grow on trees and everything, and you have to be careful, don't waste that. This is not available, this and all of that. So we've heard that. For me, particularly, I grew up with the mindset that there is not enough. There is it's all you have to be very careful. You have to be very mindful. You have to, there's never enough. And I'm like, okay, there's never enough. I would still eat. I would be full. I would, there was always this time. So I grew up with that mindset of be careful, be very mindful. There's never enough. There's never enough, right? And then as a grown up, I still struggled with it for so long until I realized that it is fear. It is the fear of the unknown. So I usually ask myself now that as a human being, what do I need right now to be healthy and to stay alive? What do I need? Food, oxygen, water? I'm not buying oxygen for crying out loud. The most important thing that I need right now is not for sale. How about I just breathe? How about I just breathe and just hold on to that for a while we sort other things like food, water, and other things. But for now, can you breathe? So it became a moment for me to think that look, I'm actually breathing and I'm living. I have life inside my lungs and I'm not buying the oxygen. I'm breathing. I'm happy. I'm living, right? Can I be happy with that first while I struggle about what I'm going to eat, drink, and all of that. And then secondly, I now said to myself, can I afford what I can eat today? Do I have what I can eat now? And I'm like, yes, yes, I have food. I can eat now. And then the next question is, do I have water? And I'm like, yes, I do have water. I drink water. And all the things I kept asking myself. And as I started asking myself, my my mind started shifting that look, the reason why we have that scarcity mindset is fear. Fear of not being able to afford some of the things that we need, some of the things that would keep us alive. Because as human beings, the only thing that the most important thing is to stay alive. We have to survive. And I have all those things available to me. So I just had that mindset that everything I want, I have for time. And that changed my life, Yogesh. It changed my life for good because every time I had to panic about something, it was something that was yet to happen in the future. It was something about how am I going to get this done? How am I going to get that done? But when I ask myself, so the question I always ask myself that keeps me going is, do I have everything I need to stay alive right now? And I answer, oh, yes, I do. And then, boom, I'm living each day as it comes with all that I need right in front of me.
Grace, you just nailed it on the coffin by saying that because, you know, it's so true. What do we really need? Oxygen, food, clothes, the basics, right? Place to stay. I mean, the problem is most people are so focused on what other people have that they forget about what do they really need right now, right? And it's so they're so focused on their wants and desires and all these other things that they are not grateful in the moment. And it's so true because my God, I got my aha just now listening to you, thinking about it, like, what do you need to stay alive, right? And gratitude. That's the second thing. They don't have gratitude. When you have gratitude for the everyday basic things, it helps so much. I mean, I once made a gratitude list and I wrote, somebody challenged me to write 200 things you're grateful for, right? At first, it sounded like crazy. But when I really, really got deep into it and I thought about it, it was like, oh my God, I'm grateful that I have a laptop. I'm grateful that we have an app called Zoom. I'm grateful we have social media like Instagram. I'm grateful that we have an internet connection. And I just went on and on and on. And when you realize, you're like, oh my God, there's so many things to be grateful for, right? Like your body, your senses, the electricity, transportation, online payment systems. Like imagine the people who had nothing, none of these functions and systems years ago, and we did. I mean, the biggest thing I'll be grateful for is I survived COVID. Even after getting it, I survived it. I know many didn't. So there's so many things to be grateful for, which I think is another thing in feeling abundant, right? So one was your questions, one is feeling abundant. What else can you tell people that will help them feel more abundant and not have that scarcity mindset? Okay, I think, yeah, Grace, you're back. Can you hear
I'm
me?
right here. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So tell us what other things people can do to have a more abundant mindset.
Okay, so I think first and foremost is to unlearn everything that we've learned. Again, I have an illustration. When they say that money is scarce and everything, I usually say that, okay, can we even start by saying that how is money made? How is money made? Money is made from trees, ironically. Yes, I'm sure you'll be like, how? So money is paper, and paper is made from trees. So what people used to say about money doesn't grow on tree, I've come to say that that's not true. Actually, money grows on trees. If you flip it, if you find out what money is made from. So I recently did a research. As you know, I'm also a researcher. So I did a research and I wanted to know what money was made of. And in doing that, can you hear me?
Yes, clearly.
Oh, beautiful. Right. So when I was doing that research, I just wanted to say, okay, let me just know what money is made of or made from. And then when I discovered that money is actually made, it's paper. You can share it. It's just paper, right? So it gave me that mindset that hmm, if money is made from paper and paper is made from trees and trees are everywhere, meaning that we can keep planting trees. And for as long as we have soil, whatever we put to the ground multiplies. Then there is never going to be an end to us having that if we continue to use paper as money. But for whatever we are going to need in life, be it food, we have to throw it to the ground. And we know that nature has a multiplier effect. You put one grain to the ground and you see how it will come out, you know, in thousands, or in it depends on what the particular thing is. So having that mindset, knowing that nature has a multiplier effect, you would unlearn what you have learned about scarcity, about things not being enough, because day in, day out, nature continues to prove us otherwise, prove us wrong. So number one thing is to unlearn what you have learned about scarcity. Number two, having the mindset that everything you put to the ground would grow times 20 of what you put in the ground. Meaning that you should start looking for how to invest. You should start looking for how to people how to do things that can give you the multipliers effect. So those two things would help you if you can just stay with these two things, which have been sitting down on. Because one thing is unlearning what you've been programmed with is very hard. So every time you catch yourself wanting to go back to that fear of it's not available, it's not enough, you remember your mantra. So this I have this mantra. One gives me many. One gives me many. I have enough. I have more than enough. One gives me many. So when I'm saying that, I still have to reprogram myself that I have the ability to multiply whatever I have, be it my knowledge, be it my skills, be it my skills, be it my business, be it anything I have. So what you have in your hand and how can you multiply what you have in your hand? So when you have that multiplier effect, then you know that thing about the scarcity mindset is totally managed. Do you? Do you mean to you? Drop a seed to the ground and leave it for 1 week and tell me what happens. Learn a skill. Just learn something. When you learn that thing, teach one person. When that person learns it, that person can teach 20 other people. And those 20 other people can teach 200 other people. So when you have that multiplier effect,
I think we lost Grace because I can't see her video, but what she was saying is so correct, right? First, you have to unlearn that scarcity mindset. You got to get rid of that thinking. And then, what an example of looking in the ground and putting a seed and how that seed multiplies. And after that, imagine one person learns that and teaches it to many people. It's that quote they say, right? Give a man a fish, you will feed him for a day. Teach him how to fish, you teach him how to live for a lifetime. So that's another thing about abundance is when you stop learning new skills, you stop learning from people who are abundant, then you have that scarcity mindset. You're not willing to invest in them. You're not willing to take that leap, whether it's for knowledge or whether it's upgrading yourself or figuring out what others are doing that is helpful in your mindset becoming more abundant. It's very necessary. I mean, when I was lost a good 10 years ago, I joined a speaking club, and from there I joined speaking competitions, and I kept going forward and forward with that. And I compete every year in the World Championship of Public Speaking because I learned the skill. I practiced it, I learned it, I became a coach, I started teaching communication. In fact, today I had a speech contest, and I didn't even practice much before going, because for me it's become part of who I am now. And that's what you have to do when it comes to your scarcity mindset, is keep learning and building till you have that abundant mindset. When we're born, we always have an abundant mindset. We don't have a scarcity mindset, but then our environment, our parents, teachers, sometimes that goes into our subconscious mind and we think that there's a lack, but there's never a lack. There's never a lack. And I'm hoping Grace will come back so we can kind of wrap up this our first session uh, on the aha movement. But there's some exercises you guys can practice. Like I said, have a gratitude list. Make a gratitude list every day and try to be grateful for something that is completely different from what you were grateful from the day before. If you can make a list of 200 in one go, that's amazing. And sometimes you don't even have to read it. All you have to do is you don't have to keep journaling every day for gratitude. You could even read that list another day if you can't think of other things. But the most important thing is, think about it. You came with nothing into this world, you're going to go with nothing. So practically, you were given oxygen for free, you were given this body, and you're functioning. So what else do you need? And once you find your purpose in life, then and you work towards it, then you will be more abundant, because sometimes it's all about finding your purpose. That is abundance. And I see Grace is coming back.
I'm so
There we
sorry.
go.
I honestly don't know what happened. I was so in my moment. I was having fun, just talking about what I was talking about. And all of a sudden, I just went off. And I'm like, ugh, technology. It's okay. I'm sure we'll get to the point where all these things it won't be an issue. I was watching a video yesterday, and the video was about sorry, I just bumped in and just started talking. Yeah, I went up for, if you're going to be watching this later. Sorry about that. Technology can be funny, but I'm sure we'll get to a point where all these things won't happen um, like this again. So yes, what were you saying before I came in?
Well, yeah, so we lost you there for a bit. So I was telling them some of the things they can do to feel more abundant, like have a gratitude journal and be grateful for the things they have in their life. And I was just repeating some of the stuff you said about putting the seed, and it multiplies, and you got to unlearn the scarcity mindset. And I lost you where you were saying that one person can teach 20, 20 can teach 200. So, I was telling them about the quote that you can give a man a fish, feed him for a day, but you teach him how to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. And I was talking about also how we need to develop skills, like you said, right? Like I personally started my journey in speaking 10 years ago. I started doing contests. In fact, today I had my contest. And, I was telling them I don't practice anymore because I have learned that skill, right? So the first thing they need to do is unlearn scarcity and learn abundance, and make that gratitude list every day. They don't have to necessarily write the same things every day. They can write something different the other day. And if sometimes they cannot think about it, just read that gratitude list every day to get that abundant mindset. And then we saw you come back. And yes, technology can be troublesome, especially it's Mercury retrograde since April 1st till the April 20th. So that happens. So, anyways, Grace, continue. Can you hear me? Can you hear
Okay.
me?
So I actually think that's. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
What's going on? Yeah, I can hear you. So okay, so I think I'll just go on to say that. All right, so fantastic. So I think we have touched on we have actually touched on some very important things, and we would love for this show not to be too long, so that everything we're going to be talking about will simmer in. People would get their aha moment, and then they would go work on other things that we've talked about. And then if you're watching this later and you have tips to share with us on things that you were able to do to get you away from the scarcity mindset to the abundance, and your tips, so that we can learn from you as well. So basically I would just say that it is important to have something. Having something is going to help you to have the multiplier effect, which is turning 1 to 100, from 100 to 200. Just knowing that you're capable of multiplying anything that you have is enough mantra for this week. So I would just say that this week, just sit on that mantra, or on that statement, which about it, I just got that moment of, okay, I'm going to sit on this week. What do I have in my hand that I can multiply? What skill do I have that I can multiply? And how can I multiply the skill that I have? So knowing all this can help me and help anybody watching right now to know that abundance is more natural than what we think. What else do you have to say so that we can wrap up in 5 minutes?
Well, I think you said it, Grace. Practice this exercise. Ask yourself, what do you really need to live, right? Like I mentioned, I'll repeat it. Have a gratitude journal. Stop comparing yourselves to others. Everything is not about material things, right? Earlier, I was also saying, even if you find your purpose and you are doing that, that in itself is abundance, because too many people are lost in their life, right? They are doing things that don't make them happy because they are only thinking about earning money, but that is a scarcity mindset. You got to do things which make you happy as well. That is an abundance mindset. Not necessarily that will make you money, but do something that makes you happy and that will make you feel abundant. Like just earlier, just before this YouTube live, I was talking to my sister. She started a poetry channel, right? And she's going to be writing poems. It's not for monetary gain, but it's more for just doing what she loves doing, like creating poems and putting it out there for someone to listen. And that in itself is abundance, because like you said, you plant a seed, it affects 20, 200, 2,000, 20,000, 200,000, 2 million. It can keep going on and on and on. So do those things. Watch our YouTube again. Leave comments for us. Share it with people, because it's not about us, it's about you. So you get your aha, and it's a movement. Share it so we can move it across the world and have many of you have your aha moments. I'm so excited about this, Grace. Once again, congratulations. We started it in a very short notice. And any parting words before we go, Grace?
All right. So we started with scarcity versus abundance, and I said scarcity is man-made, abundance is more natural. So what I would say is that for what for you to better understand it, sit down and look around you and see what's more natural and how does it come, and how can you relate to things that are very natural. And when you look around you, you would not need anyone to tell you that abundance is the way to go and the way to think. Does I don't think I want to add to that, except you have anything to add. I'll just say, please live an abundant life and keep reminding yourself. And as you do that, your vibration would always continue to go higher and you continue to attract abundance. Yes.
I think we've said it all. So thank you so much, Grace. And thank you to the audience who will watch it live or will watch the replay. Don't forget to hashtag. And we look forward to seeing you at the next Aha Movement episode next Sunday, 12 p.m. EST. See you, everybody. Thank you so much, Grace. Take care.
Bye. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to like and don't forget to comment. Bye.